Welcome back to the Miserable Podcast. So this is going to be an interesting one because for the first few minutes we are talking about absolutely nothing. We couldn't figure out what to talk about for a casual Friday, so we just began to talk and it got really deep. So deep that it turned into a regular episode, and I didn't want you to be confused, so I recorded this at the beginning.
At the end.
Shut up. So you'll get this later at the end of this episode. We recorded this intro so that you would understand what is happening when the episode actually starts right now after this music.
Oh my God.
We suck at this.
Yeah, because that was us that did that.
All right, Casual Friday, we can't talk about movies or coronavirus.
Yeah.
Can't even mention them.
Uh-oh, that's tough.
What about movies about coronavirus?
Gosh, here we go. We're going to talk about a movie, I'm pretty sure.
Let's not talk about movies.
Can we cut this?
I don't watch them Jones. I just fall asleep to them.
Have you heard of any new music? Got nothing.
Not really.
Nope.
Now let's just let's do like a podcast thing. Let's set a topic, but let it
Set
be
a topic. Okay, well, what's a topic? Give me a good topic. Notice how I put that qualifier in there.
Yeah, too much of a challenge.
Sweatshirt is like a 4X. Sorry. I look like I got wings. But it's like
Or
mad,
like you
mad comfortable.
lost like 300 pounds
Oh,
in
yeah.
the evening.
I had the surgery. Couldn't think of what it was called. Oh,
Maybe
man.
because there's not one specific one.
So what we going to talk about, yo? If we can't talk about movies, new music, nor the coronavirus.
No, there's got to be something.
Is there anything besides coronavirus and movies right now? We're doing it. All we're talking about is coronavirus and movies. That's it.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I don't either. They don't want to hear it.
What
if wait, can we just end this right now and this be the Casual Friday?
No. I won't allow that.
All right, sorry. I can dream.
Yeah, just a dream, not a goal.
My dream is to not do a Casual Friday.
Well, I mean, some of the other ones that we were doing before were Phil wouldn't.
There were things going on, though.
Yeah.
We're talking about the NBA.
I got a question. Yeah, there's nothing going on right now. It's been the same thing every week. So I got a question. What is a task that you have to do, like around the house in your life, that you like may not necessarily like enjoy doing it, but like you low-key like get something out of it? Like it's actually like, you know, it's like I could talk about like, oh, I hate doing this, but like in your heart of hearts, you really don't hate it.
Cooking.
I
like it. I have a weird like love-hate relationship with cooking. I don't consider myself a good cook. But
is it because sometimes you cook and it just sucks and you're mad at yourself?
No, it's just because it just takes like not just time, but like there's after you're done cooking, there's like a million things you gotta wash.
I know.
And maybe that's why, because it's like you're putting in the work to cook something and then you still got to work after you're done. Because after you eat a meal, you want to just like chill or like relax. But you're like, oh, wait, the whole sink is full of dishes. Let me tell you something, buddy. When you have kids, after meals are literally World War III. So this is like our routine. And I dig it. We literally take Miles, especially, he's like out of high chair, straight into the bathtub because there's no just like wiping that kid down. You got green beans in your shower drain. Yeah,
we've got, I mean, everything. My man gets corn in his ears. There's like gravy down his back, like, you know, whatever we had. Like,
hilarious.
It's awesome
and terrible.
But like, so when mealtime is over, Becca takes him to the bath. And then I'm left with everything on the stove, everything on the table, and everything in the high chair, everything on the floor. And they go to the bath, and I just do the whole, basically upstairs at that point. Like it's like peas all the way to the bathroom. Like, peas, not pee.
Not
just
pee.
Yeah.
Heather posted a video on Instagram earlier of Zoe. Like she gave her like a little like cup of peanut butter, and it was everywhere. It was like, like when people they buy those like mud masks things that
I saw this video.
Yeah, it was all over her face. It was completely covered her hands.
There's no
everywhere.
There's no wiping that off. You literally just got to go submerge them in
it's so
water.
Funny to like when you're a kid, you have no like perception of the fact that like, oh, my hand's covered in peanut butter. I have an itch. Like you don't. There's not like that disconnect you have when you're an adult. I
don't know. I'm trying to think of something that
I think I know one of yours.
What's that?
Washing the cars.
All 100 of them.
Cause that's like one of the only things you post on social media. It's true though. You're like, you do time lapses. It's like before and after, like,
or as DIY projects at home.
It's not that I don't like them. I actually really do like it.
There is something therapeutic about washing cars.
It is.
You can get lost in the details of like.
The only thing I don't like about washing cars is finding all the defects in my paint and in my wheels.
Yeah.
Every time I do it, I'm like, oh, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Rock chips.
I don't know.
Chips.
The hardest thing for me is to get started. Especially like at the beginning of the season. Like now that we're coming out of like the cold months. It's like every week I'm like, yeah, I'm about to bring my pressure washer out. And I'm like, nah, forget it. Next week. But I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of something that
you just like enjoy doing it. It's like
it's very therapeutic, man.
Just washing your car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can think.
You don't have to do anything else at that time except wash that car.
It's just like it's me by myself.
You know what mine is?
What's that?
Mowing the lawn.
Wait, your thing that you just enjoy.
I just enjoy it. Sometimes I act like I don't like it. That
wasn't the original question, was it?
Yeah, it was. It's like something that you could say like, oh, I don't like this, but like really deep down. Like,
oh, okay. See, I thought it was.
Yeah, sorry. I'm a terrible communicator.
Yeah.
So like you enjoy cooking.
I do. Because I'm not like a recipe person so much.
Maybe that's how to phrase it. Something that's like work. It's a task, but it's therapeutic.
Or rewarding or something.
Yeah. So it's cooking that for you?
Yeah.
And washing the car,
definitely.
Mowing the lawn for me.
Yeah, definitely washing
Mowing the lawn is like literally the noise. I can't hear nobody. I'm just out there outside by myself. And it's a very rewarding task because there's a very clear before and after. Every time I'm on my lawn, I step out in the street and do this.
Yeah, buddy.
I've already got that like,
middle-aged
that's
guy.
It. Standing out there with my cup of coffee, just like, I did it, boy.
Yep.
And your white socks that are
Yo,
now
let
green.
me tell you something that's happening. I'm getting old. You know why? I'm waking up for no reason in the 5 o'clock hour now.
Wow.
I woke up at 5:05 the other morning, made a cup of coffee and read. And I was like, I am Rebecca's grandpa.
Your wife's grandpa?
I am waking up and reading before the sun comes up.
Bro, I'm looking forward for that.
It's awesome, yo. I came here the other day and my wife like texted me and was like, what do you want for lunch? And I'm like, lunch? And I looked at it was 11:30. In my head, it was like 5 p.m. But if you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, like it's a lot of time between then and lunch.
Yeah, for real.
But I've done that like this week, almost every day except for today. I slept. It was about 6:45. That's when Malin woke up, and that's a big portion of it too. It's like the kids. Then you're tired, so then you knock out at 9:30. And then I only sleep for 6 hours. So when I go to bed,
that's what supports the cycle.
When I go to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm up at 3 a.m. Like now what? Like I have to go back to sleep, so I force myself, but yeah, so that's how I know I'm getting a little older.
I don't know. In the summer months, I'm like that. In the summer months, especially because the sun come up so early, it's like easy for me to wake up early.
I'm a morning person in general.
Really?
I'm like my mom. Like when my eyes open up, it's go
You're
time.
Up.
It's go time.
I wish that was the case for me.
A couple times this week. I woke up before my alarm. Like I try to get up out of bed before 7. And recently, just because of how much I've been working, I can't get up, bro. And that junk like depressed my life. And a couple times this week, it was like 6:30. I woke up and I just got up. Like I didn't even give myself the opportunity to second guess it.
Yeah.
I just got up, brushed my teeth, took the dogs for a walk, made some coffee.
Have you ever read the book, The 5-Second Rule?
Nah.
You might like that. I haven't read it. I understand like the principles and stuff. Like I've watched like videos about it. Nick recently read it, but it's basically like when you have something that you have to do, but you don't necessarily want to do it, you just count down from 5 from that like moment. And then you on 1 or 5, however you count, you just get up and do the thing. Like you don't give yourself the opportunity.
Why count? What does counting do?
Just there's probably some like,
psychological
thing to it.
Set your mind off to like just go.
Too late. I can't do that.
Because I used to get like upset. People would say something to me or like passive aggressive things, like really upset. Like I would steam for a day, like mad. And I read in a book somewhere, somebody was like, it was talking about controlling your emotions, emotional intelligence. They're like, people gonna make you mad. You'll never not get mad.
Right.
So you can't really control that. That's a chemical thing that happens in your brain. Somebody does something, chemicals shoot through your veins. Now, what the book was saying is that how long that happens, that's what you control. So literally, the book was like, if you're bad, if you're really upset and mad for a long time, then start with 2 minutes or 10 minutes. So if somebody makes you mad, you hang up the phone. You go, all right, literally, you set a 10-minute timer. You say, I'm going to be mad for 10 minutes. And you allow yourself that time. Instead of fighting it and going back and forth, you just, I'm going to be mad. And you go through it. You go through the cycle. You let it run through your veins and you're mad. When the timer goes off, you go, okay, I'm not going to be mad now.
How?
But listen. So the book was talking about training. It was trying to teach you how to control your emotions.
Okay.
So then, I did this, and it worked.
But
listen. So then you work your way down. So it was like maybe you get mad for a month. So you start it with a day. You just decide when I wake up in the morning, and what it is, it's being intentional about the way you feel. That's all it is. It's like, okay, so I'm allowing myself to be angry for this amount of time. So I literally did this, and what was that? Anyways.
Probably people above us.
Yeah, maybe so. But I did this. And I remember when I got to the point where I was at 2 minutes. And I would do this, yo. I would set my phone. I would talk to Paulie. He would piss me off. I set a 2-minute timer on my phone. Like, I'm going to be mad for 2 minutes. And then you know what happened? Started getting to the point where I would be done and the timer hadn't even gone off. I would have already moved on with my life.
I've greatly impacted his life.
He has. Like, thank you for making me so miserable for so long. No, but then that was the whole point. Then you go to a minute and then or whatever. Then you get to the point where you don't need that, right?
So basically what that's saying is if you put some form of limit to it or giving that anger that particular space, once you're done with it, you can move on.
Right.
Or basically, you control how long.
Exactly. And what it is more so than the stopping of it, because you were like, how are you just not mad anymore? That's not the point. The point is that you've allowed yourself to be mad.
Because normally you're fighting it like,
and so there's all this
and it's
tension.
Like this going back and forth.
So what it is you're just like, okay, this is a normal emotion.
Right.
Right? Well, should I be mad? What did they mean? What doesn't matter. Just you're mad. That's how you reacted. Get through it. Deal with it. And like literally, it's gotten to the point now where those moments happen, right? And somebody will say something or not meet expectations or this or that or get accused of something or confusion, whatever. And you get off the phone or you walk out of the room, whatever happens. And it's like, I can feel now. And it's like being aware of your body, being aware of what's happening. And it's like, I can feel that process that I used to go through over a day. I can go through that now. I don't know how long it takes, a minute. You know what I mean? And it's like, Nope. Because I've proven to myself with 10 minutes, I've proven to myself, I can control this.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't have to control me. So it's just being intentional. It's giving yourself the space to be upset. And then it's learning and realizing, just like anything else, it's like, wait a second, I can actually be in control of this.
Right.
So yeah, that was a.
But sometimes that don't feel good when you be like steaming all day though.
My man is just so sincere.
For real. Likes being angry. I mean,
I don't like being angry, but I think I don't know. I feel like
you just for you, it's just an expression. Like you being angry feels good because you're allowing that emotion to process.
Right. And I'll be done with it. I'm saying once I'm done with it, I'm done with it.
Well, and I think there's a difference too. Like there's healthy and righteous anger. You know what I'm saying? There's some anger that's like sometimes I get upset with myself because I know I didn't do something that I should have done the day before. So then I'm angry and then I'm going at it. Then I get 4 times as much done that day. So
I like that.
You're right.
I love that.
So that's different. I'm talking about the unhealthy, like
resentment,
paralyzing resentment, the dark anger. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That could ruin relationships. That can cause bitterness. That the evil anger. You know what I'm saying? Not the righteous. Right. It's that. It's
that's
that.
The difference.
Yeah. So, but that was.
So how do you control that?
And I think a lot of this
evil
started
anger.
Well, I think a lot of this started with 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He tells a story in there where this lady was miserable because she was like a in-home care nurse, and there was an older gentleman, and he was rude and mean, and she was miserable every time she went over there. And he was speaking at one of his seminars talking about you control the way you feel. And she was like, wait, what? Like, no, this guy is a jerk. And, in her head, and he's just talking like, no matter what happens, you control the way you feel.
Right.
And then a light went off, and he said this lady in the conference stood up and was like, oh my God. Like she had this revelation. She's like, I don't have to quit. I don't have to change him. I can just be happy when I'm there. And it's like she had this huge like shift that was just like, wait a second. He doesn't control me.
Right.
I'm letting him.
Right.
But he doesn't. You know,
right.
It's like, so it's like this crazy moment where she had this revelation, and it changed. Like he like followed up with her, and she talked to the other nurses, and like they all hated it. And then they ended up like being fine, and they would go over it. And I think one of the morals of it was that even the guy then changed because their attitude changed. So this is that extreme ownership, taking control of everything you can control. They can control him, but essentially they could if they controlled themselves. So it's like, it's crazy.
I like
you're talking about like, how do you address that evil anger? And it's just that, like, I think as humans, and you look at it from a Christian perspective, we're always going to be battling the flesh, right? We're always going to have that human nature part of us. It's just learning to be in control of that thing. And when you have those moments where the flesh takes over or the human nature takes over or whatever, like you got to understand that you are still a human being. And whatever those chemicals that your brain fires off that literally makes fire run through your veins when you're upset. Like it's crazy, like the physical manifestation of emotions. Isn't that wild?
That's crazy, bro.
Like to think about that, like somebody make you angry and you're just like, your whole body heats up. Like that feeling that
I think that's
your neck, like the back of your neck, you like, it's crazy to think
like
about.
I get like 20 times stronger, bro, when I get hot.
Which is scary.
I think that's
about.
that's probably an important aspect of controlling that is being aware of the physiological responses that you have.
Right.
Because sometimes those happen before you realize you're actually mad. You know, like hair standing up or like starting to feel adrenaline. Like your body often acts before your mind has like the moment to catch up. So I think
and that's also, there's also a lot of psychology behind that as well. So it's like, if you, like they literally, I've done this stuff too. Maybe I'm just a broken person, man. I've tried a lot of stuff. But
we're all
like if there's days, right. But like if there's days where I'm like feeling down, like depressed type mood, one of the things they say to do is to do all of the physical manifestations that would happen if you were happy. So you stand up straight, you lift your head up, and you smile. Because the body sometimes follows the emotions, but the mind and the emotions also follow the physical. So
say that again.
So you can, sometimes you're sad and you put your head down. Right? Sometimes you put your head up and then you're not sad anymore. So sometimes the body can affect the mind just as much as the mind can affect the body. So we think that our body just acts out what our mind feels, but they've shown this, that you can actually act things out and then basically convince your mind that that's how you feel.
Makes sense.
So sometimes and talk about people who are shy or people who have stage fright. A lot of times before stage fright, people are nervous and twitchy and they're shrinking their head down in their shoulders, they're doing this and if you have stage fright, you be intentional about standing still and upright with your head up. You might still kind of feel nervous, but if you do that, you send signals to your brain.
Confidence.
Your brain's oh, I'm nervous. And it's wait, maybe I'm not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm not that nervous actually.
Right.
Because what happens is you end up creating a feedback loop. You're I'm nervous. And then you act nervous. And your brain's oh yeah, I'm nervous. Yep. And then you start acting more nervous. And it's oh yeah, we're real nervous now. And it's this crazy feedback loop of emotion. So part of that, changing your posture, is just kind of breaking that feedback loop where your brain's you're nervous. But if you're not manifesting it, it's okay. Wait,
are you?
Maybe, all right, we're a little nervous, but we're all right, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like a game that you play. And I don't think it's if you're sad, just lift your chin up, idiot. I don't think it's not like that,
Not that simple.
Yeah, but there's, it's again, anything you can control. And I've done that. I'll practice that. Sometimes I get in a room, an intimidating room in Malibu, California, and I'm in the chair like this. And I'm wait, hold on. Let's sit back. I'm gonna put my leg up, put my head high. I'm gonna relax. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then it's all of a sudden your body kind of settles into that.
But I think it's also things that you learn, because that's something now that I'm trying to instill in my son.
Right.
I want him to naturally know, you are definitely in control. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter what anyone say to you, you control you.
Right.
So sometimes, I'll correct him, and his natural reaction is this. Following right behind it, I'm hey, pick your head up. Pick your head up. Hold your head up.
I do the same thing with Maylin.
Yeah.
Sometimes when she gets disciplined and she gets sad, and I'm no. Come on.
Yeah.
Nope, you're not crying.
Right.
Right?
Right. Change it.
This is just correction.
That's
it.
You
can't do that. You just can't do it. You don't have to cry about it. And she's
and it's gone. And she'll suck it up.
And then it's over. And it's all right, there you go. You can rein it in, and I'm not saying, I don't.
Casual Friday has become very uncasual.
It's very deep. Let's change it to a regular episode. We got to be flexible. We just talked about that.
So what do y'all think about this? All right. You wake up in the morning. You felt great, right? Everything's good. You go to work, and your interaction with the first or second person at work just kind of rubs you wrong, right? And this is where I definitely know that you have the control to sway that a certain way. Now, I think there are a couple of different things that plays its part in that. Depends on the type of, mood you're in. That's anyway, but let me get back to it. So your interaction with this person just dogged you out. I think it's easy to say oh, this person messed up my day. Or you can shake it off and just continue on having a good day. I said that to someone yo, just kind of what the guy said, you control the way I'm saying I can't control the way how that person interacted with me. However, I can control however I'm going to take that and what I'm going to do with it. Although it's just not. And there's things that plays its part that would make you react differently depending on a lot of different things. What are those things to you? Like for me, it's my mood at that particular time. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm in a happy, whatever mood, then I don't care. I'll just let it roll off my back. I really don't care. But if I'm already kind of like thinking about some things and I'm like steaming on something and you just gonna jump on me with that, bro, I don't got no time for it. Right? So like, what are those things for y'all? Like, what are those determined factors?
I'll tell you one of mine. Like what can make me like...
Right. 0 to 100 real quick.
If I am lacking sleep. That if I go 3 days, like not intentional. If I intentionally lack sleep, I can deal with it. It's when like my kids don't sleep and I'm not getting to sleep till 2 a.m. because it's one right after the other. And then Miles is up at 5:45 and we do that 3 days in a row. That third day, don't talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I need one good night's rest before I can deal with anything. So that's mine. It's like the unintentional lack of sleep. Again, if it's intentional, I can go off 3-4 hours of sleep a night for a little while.
Right.
And I can deal with it because I'm in control of that. It's like when I'm not in control and I'm just lacking sleep that I otherwise wanted. That's when...
Because you feel like something was taken from you.
If that's when it's like... And I sometimes I don't even realize it. I'm just like, why am I so mad right now? Why is everything ticking me off so bad? And I'm like, oh, I just need to get some sleep. Like, that's probably what it is.
But I think it's cool that you know what that is. I think a lot of people don't know.
Right. Well, that's because a lot of people, or generally speaking, I always try to put the responsibility on myself. You. And a lot of other people are just going, yo, everybody sucks. Everybody's rude. Everybody's mean. Nobody communicates right. Everybody does this. Everybody does that.
Which is true, but it's still...
Doesn't matter.
Might be true, might not be true. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The mindset that I try to have is, okay, why am I mad about everything right now? It's not everybody, right? It's like my dad always told this corny joke, right? He's got a few of them that are the same message. But there was one, he was like, this guy went to the doctor. And he was like, doctor, when I touch right here, it hurts. And doctor, when I touch right here, it hurts. The doctor's like, that's interesting. He's like, doctor, when I touch here, it hurts. And the doctor's like, yeah. Anything else? He's like, doctor, when I touch here, it hurts. And he just goes down his body, he's touching all these things. And the doctor goes, all right, well, sir. He's like, I think I have it figured out. And he's like, please, doctor, because every time I touch it hurts. And he goes, yeah, sir, you have a broken finger. And the whole message of the joke is that a lot of times my dad's other joke is he's like the lady who stands in her window at her kitchen sink and she looks over and complains about her neighbor's dirty house. It's like my neighbor's house is so dirty. It's so dirty. It's so dirty. One day she splashes some soap up on her window. She goes to wipe it off and realize her window's been dirty the whole time. So it's like people live like that. They live like everything is broken. It's like, well, maybe it's not everybody else. Right. Maybe it's you. Right. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's people that live in that world willingly because it's easier than assessing yourself.
Right.
So I discovered these principles a few years ago and I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to live a lie. Right. And then you start seeing it in other people. And I remember when I worked at Lowe's I've worked at Lowe's for like 2 months and I got promoted to a sales specialist, right? Not like a high level job, but there was people who had been working at that store for 10 years. I've been there 2 months and I got it. And guess what they did, yo? Whined. They just whined and complained about it. Those same people call out 2 times a week. But that's not why, right? They're just a victim.
Right.
We had this one dude, yo, and we've joked about this before. I used to go into Lowe's for a while, like 5:15 in the morning. I think it was 5:15, something like that. I used to get up in the 4 o'clock hour. That's all I know.
Right.
But get there, and I would be like, yo, where's Joe at? Like, where's Joe? Like, in electrical, where is he at? And they're like, oh, he called, he wasn't feeling well. Like, it's 5:30 in the morning. Nobody feels well at 5:30 in the morning. Get up and go to work.
Right.
You know, but it's those same people. He was the perfect example where everybody else is getting promoted. And he's like, there's just no opportunity in this company. And this and that and this and that. It's like, nah, bro. It's your window's dirty, dog.
Yeah.
Like
your work ethic sucks.
So I can't remember like exactly, you know, how that got started. But I guess, we're talking about the fact that I was aware that I was tired.
Right.
Because I think
the thing that sets you off.
Right. Is you can, if you're honest and you're willing to take yourself on as the problem, then you can discover things like that. And I don't do it all the time, right? But I try to. I will say this. I do this every time in my life. And you know this because I talk to you a lot. And hopefully you know this too because we just had this conversation a few days ago. If I'm ever upset or frustrated or somebody has not met some expectation or whatever, the moment I'm like, yo, he is really getting on my nerves. My very next thought is like, what am I doing wrong? Like, and that's literally how I live my life. I don't always then religiously adhere to that second part. Sometimes I just remain frustrated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It can be a battle, but I can truthfully say that that's how I approach everything. Everything in my life is, if I'm like, this person was supposed to do that and they didn't do it, I'm immediately going, double back. Did I communicate that clearly? Let me see. No, I really didn't state the deadline very clearly. I said this or this. So I really didn't give a deadline. Next time, I need to give a clear deadline. You know, and it's like, then the next time I'm like, oh yeah, because I accepted that responsibility, then I'm giving that deadline. Right. Then if it's like, okay, hold on. Still didn't happen. Wait a second. Let me go back.
Bro, I'm dealing with the same thing right now, bro. And my approach is always the same way. So I have this young gentleman that's on my team. Very quiet guy. He speaks. And that's how he speaks. I'm like, hey, man.
Meanwhile, it's like,
I'm like, hey, man. So, like, he's probably been on my team now for probably about 2 years. And this guy is like wrecking my means of communication, bro, because I'm trying everything with this guy. Like, everything.
We tried shouting.
Doesn't work. Because he responds back like, I don't understand what you're saying. And I'm just like, what? Anyway, I gave him an instruction the other day, right? And I'm like, hey, take these items from off of this truck. If it's a particular item, if it's a push mower, put it on this truck. If it's anything else, put it over here. Right? I needed to get out the store. So I was just like, all right, I'm about to go sit down in my car for a little bit. Sat down in my car for a little bit, like 30 minutes. Came back inside. And I started like looking around. I was like, hey, did you understand what I asked you to do? Yeah, I got it. Tell me what I told you to do. Take the items off of this truck and put it on that truck. And I was like, no, bro. My man had electrical stuff.
Right. So what did you learn from that?
And I'm just like, so at first I kind of got like upset, like, yo, you don't listen. But then I was like, yeah, I can't put that on him. I was like, maybe. So then I started thinking, all right, what did I tell him? But I'm like, well, I told him if it's push mowers, put it on this truck, everything else. So I could have given him more specifics. I could have walked him through it. I could have held his hand a little bit more.
You could have asked him to repeat back the instructions you gave him.
I've done that. Right. It doesn't work. I've tried that, right? And I'm just like,
put it on a sticky note.
You could have come back. You could have set a 3-minute timer on your phone.
Yep.
And come back in 3 minutes before he got the whole job done to go, whoa, stop. I didn't communicate it well. That doesn't go in the truck. Only push mowers go in this truck. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you could have caught it. So But that's what I'm saying. This is the mindset of like, what could I have done
because
different?
I can only control me.
Right.
At the end of the day, right? Control the things that you can control. And I can only control me. So I'm like starting to complain about it to like my store manager. Like, yo, like, I don't know what other avenues to take with this guy. And as soon as I said that, I was like, you know what? It's on me. I just didn't communicate well enough. And he was like, well, no, I wouldn't really say it. And I'm like, no.
Let me take responsibility.
That's
on me.
That's the Paulie in my life. Where I'm like, man, I could have done this. He's like, well, no. I mean, you got to understand that we could have done this. And I'm like, Paulie, thank you for like sticking up for me. But like,
that's on me. That's on me, man.
Yeah, just let me own up. Dylan does it too. If we're ever in meetings, my nephew Dylan, and I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, I didn't communicate well. And he'll be like, well, it's not your fault because we could have taken initiative. I'm like, thank you for trying to stick up for me against me, but like, let me live.
Which is funny.
What you're doing is what you should do to yourself, and that's what I'm doing to myself. Yeah, we all got to take this responsibility together, you know.
Yeah.
This is not a casual Friday.
Yeah, it's not.
What's your thing?
The thing that can, not all the time, but the thing that often easily sets me off is when someone tells me to do something that I'm in the middle of doing. Like,
and anytime they tell you that, or what's the determining factors that will change that?
Well, I mean, there isn't really a lot of examples in my life at the moment where, except for maybe stuff that we're doing, where like,
I'm like, yo, are you doing a post today? And he's like, got it scheduled already. That probably took some while.
It's usually more trivial things, honestly. Like, that does bother me, and I can speak it. Not so much.
I'm glad it does, though. I'm happy.
Not so much, though. And I can speak like in the past, the job that I had before I moved here, like I never really knew how to break it down, especially in that job. When I was working on a task that I was given by a supervisor or had worked and finished that task, like my boss in my old job would do this often. Like he would be like, hey, these are the kind of things that we want to accomplish this week. And I would do them. And then at the end of the week, he'd be like, whatever happened to this? And I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, did you ever do this thing? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, did you look to see if it was done? No. I'm like, all right. So yes, it's done. I don't know where we go from here.
What are you talking about again?
That happened frequently. And now it's like more like just trivial things. Like, and I do have to like step back and just be like, don't be mad about this because it's pointless. But that's something that does like, I guess because when someone's in the like the workplace type situation, when someone's in charge of you and they're delegating a task to you, and maybe I'm wrong, I feel like part of their responsibility is to not in every case. Oftentimes, part of that supervisor's responsibility is to make sure that job was done that they delegated to you, and to just like, and you don't really do this, but and for someone to just be like, did you do that thing?
It's like you're working on it. You asked me to work on it. You didn't even notice it.
Right.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah. I think back in that situation, like that used to bother me because I felt like I wasn't being paid attention to or valued in a way, because it's like, I'm just a task rabbit for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if
like
you're not
I have this to-do list. Did you check it off for me or not?
Yeah.
You're like, yes.
Like if you're not going to like, because I think, especially it was a semi-creative environment. Like if you're in that type of a job, feedback is good and important, especially to someone that's like, maybe you're like working for to achieve a goal of theirs. So, I mean, like, even if you've bought into it personally to a degree, but like in those situations, I think it's important to, as the person, because I've been on both sides. I've been the person in the supervisor role, and, you know, the person beneath that, like, check out that work that you asked that person to do and give them feedback. If they didn't do it right, then let them know that, you know what I mean? Give them, and then give the reasons why. But like, don't just be like, don't assume that I didn't do it or that they didn't
That's
do it.
probably what it is.
Yeah.
Either that they are genuinely assuming that you did it, or you're frustrated because you're placing that on them. You're placing that on them, that the reason you're asking is because you're assuming that I didn't do it. Which
an assumption circle.
Which happens in marriage, I think, sometimes. You ever snapped at your wife and she's like, did you do this? You're like, yes. And she's like, oh, okay, I was just curious. And you're like, oh, I thought you was like coming at me. Like I thought we was like, you know,
like you already had your fence
I was ready. I was ready to go.
Fight.
You know, yeah. So I mean, that could be the two different parts to that too. But it's an interesting way though to live, man, because it's very liberating. Like, it's tough. It's not easy, right? But it's very liberating to just not be controlled by anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, okay, I could sit here and I could complain, like, about everything. I could be a victim to everything. That's all it is, a victim mentality. Everything's happening to me. Mm-hmm. You know? Or you can just go, that upset me. Let's work to fix it.
Right.
Let's just see what happens. And it's cool because it gets easier. And you become more responsible. So you get in less situations where you're in the wrong because you're taking more responsibility. And then it also gets you over the fear of failure.
Right.
It's just like, whatever. Screw that up.
Whatever.
Okay.
Bounce back.
Now, next thing, you know.
Yeah.
This is not a casual Friday. So
we'll title this one the casual Friday that wasn't.
Let me do something really quick.
Do it.
Because otherwise I'll just have to do it later.
Yes.
Ready? Wait. I'm going to record an intro. I'm going to do it live. We'll just leave it in here at the end too. But I'm going to record an intro and put it at the beginning so people aren't confused.
This is like saying ciao. It means hello and goodbye.
All right, shut up. All right.
Aloha.
Welcome back to the Miserable Podcast. So this is going to be an interesting one because for the first few minutes we are talking about absolutely nothing. We couldn't figure out what to talk about for a casual Friday, so we just began to talk and it got really deep. So deep that it turned into a regular episode, and I didn't want you to be confused, so I recorded this at the beginning.
At the end.
Shut up. So you'll get this later at the end of this episode. We recorded this intro so that you would understand what is happening when the episode actually starts right now after this music.
Oh my God.
We suck at this.
Yeah, because that was us that did that.
It's all you guys' fault. So I guess
the responsibility for yourself.
No, not me. If you want to know what we're talking about right now, you're going to have to listen to the whole episode, which I will warn you.
Wait, is this part of the intro still?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening anymore.
Yay.
Inception. See you guys later.
Gosh, it's so hot in here.
Miserable.